Hello, I'm Colleen Rice, Executive Director and 2008 graduate from Leadership Medina County, a nonprofit educational and leadership development organization that educates, connects, and involves a dynamic group of community leaders. An important part of community leadership is listening and learning from other leaders. Since the charter class of 1992, Leadership Medina County has been recognizing leaders and learning from their stories, such as mobilizing other leaders, maximizing their strengths, and empowering others through mentoring. Today, you'll hear the stories from 5 leaders in our community representing health, business, public service, and education. They have been selected by their peers as excellent community leaders. On behalf of the Leadership Medina County Board of Trustees, we hope you'll enjoy this program and learn more about yourself, leadership, and our community.
The Park District was planning on building an environmental education center to conduct nature programs for both children and adults. And as a part of that process, we involved the Educational Service Center in Medina County, who assisted us with putting together a group of Medina County school teachers who met with us to discuss what kinds of things did they see the children needed, what kind of experiences did they need in the field to help them supplement their classroom studies. And also they helped us design the building so that when children were brought there, we could break them into groups. There's a little lab there where they can actually use microscopes. There's obviously the big thing there is the park itself and going out into the field and getting exposed to the different habitats on the property. And there's also a classroom setting, so part of the group can go into more detailed instruction in a classroom. At the same time, we discussed very thoroughly the curriculum requirements, and we've done that a number of times since that original group met before we built the Environmental Center. We've met with teachers on a number of occasions since to review current curriculum standards and to see how our curriculum can be combined into their curriculum to meet the needs that they're trying to meet in the classroom. We continue to bring school groups to the Environmental Center. We continue to redesign programs as curriculums change and the requirements, the state requirements change. We adjust the curriculum accordingly so that we're meeting those goals and objectives.
I'm a big believer, it may sound cliche, but I'm a really big believer that the young people are the future. That I feel like the more, in particular, I think it's because I'm in manufacturing, and I think the younger generation or people, the kids in school don't really connect yet with manufacturing. They just don't know much about it, other than maybe seeing a few shows on how it's made or something. But really, there's not a lot of first-hand opportunities for youngers, like students, for example, to see manufacturing. So we're always a big advocate, like when they have the manufacturing days where they'll bring in the classes from schools. McJack always participates in that because I always want to encourage others, to encourage kids and college students to go into careers that may lead to manufacturing. I might be biased because I've always been in manufacturing, but I really do think it's an important backbone of the economy and of America, and it kind of breaks my heart at times to see so many manufacturing jobs lost over the last decade or two. And it is not what people sometimes think of. They think of just the old smokestack industries, but you walk in and everything's computer controlled and high speed. We have, like at McJack, for instance, not to brag, but we have some of the most state-of-the-art equipment that exists for candy making. The lollipop machines there is nothing better on the market that can make lollipops like the ones in our factory. We have I think the most high-tech machines in North America for gourmet deposited lollipop making. Same thing with that toffee bagger we just bought is got all the latest bells and whistles. So coming back to your original question, I just think that it's important to encourage younger people to get into the different to go into degrees that if they chose to get into manufacturing, they could, whether it be accounting or anything with food science. Engineering, obviously, is always something that's in demand in manufacturing. That's why I ended up in manufacturing as an electrical engineer. So I think it's just very important to start at an early age and get people interested in those kind of things, because they may not have the same glitz as, you know, going to work for, say, Amazon or one of the internet-based companies, but I think it's just as important or more so for the American economy in general to have a real healthy manufacturing base. I think as far as someone influential to me, and I think it's something I've hopefully carried with me, is I found that each person needs to lead with their own leadership style. Everyone will find a style that fits them and their personality and also works very well with the people that they're trying to lead. You know, some of my most successful managers, that it's not like they were carbon copies of another successful manager I had. They each had their own approach to things, but once you got to know them and what their expectations were, I think there's some common things between all successful leaders, but each person can kind of take their own style. I think all leaders need to take input and listen to those that they're leading, not just, you know, pass down edicts and follow, just do it this way or do it that way and don't ask why. I think it's important to be, you know, participative, but in the end, sometimes a tough decision has to be made too. And I've had some leaders that are also hesitant to make a tough decision, and that's also part of leadership. And it may not always be the most popular, but in the end, you know, it's the right decision. So I think those are some principles among many others that I found are key to being a good leader, is just being willing to listen to others and get all the ideas, but at times also make the tough decision.
I think it's my enthusiasm. If I'm passionate about something, I cannot keep it to myself. It oozes out. And so consequently, I think people are attracted to energy and enthusiasm, and if I have something that I know has been successful, I cannot keep it to myself. It needs to be shared. So people listen and they try it out, and then it works. I received it 2 years ago from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Wildlife, and it was the Project Wild Facilitator of the Year, and that was through the state of Ohio, and it was the fact that 10 schools in Medina County qualified and were certified as wild schools that year. So to me, that was my greatest honor, because it meant that 10 schools now were on board with outdoor education and were recognized for the fact that 10 schools in Medina County now have those facilities for more outdoor education. 2 years ago, one of the teachers who took this workshop, this 15-hour workshop, was on the verge of stopping her teaching career. I think she was just frustrated with all the testing and watching children kind of go to sleep mentally in the classroom. And when she took the workshop and heard some of these other teachers who had the advantage of getting kids outside, and she heard their energy and their enthusiasm, she decided, yes, I'm going to develop one at Buckeye Intermediate School. This is Anita Barnhart. In fact, she is being honored as 2016 Conservation Teacher of the Year. But she was ready to stop teaching. And now to talk to her, she's just alive and excited. Even had workshops all summer long for the students to come to. Can you imagine? A teacher teaching all summer, every week on Tuesday. And these students came in, worked in these gardens, and to me, that turned this teacher, now she can be giving back to these students, inspiring them for their lifetime, and it would have been stopped. And I've heard of other teachers who just said all the testing and the rigors of the mundane schedules day after day and not getting out of the classroom. I saw it in my own life. When I was a classroom teacher, many times I was gazing out the window and thinking, okay, got to get these kids outside. And when I started teaching many years ago, they did not have as many restrictions of where you could take kids. And so if I was driving to school in the morning and saw something exciting, for instance, a tree was in blossom and or in different stages, or I just noticed something on my way to school, I would go into the principal's office and I would say, would it be possible? Could I take these kids down the street to show them this tree? Or there was a cemetery right down from my classroom, and I said, we're talking about geology today, and I noticed there's sandstone tombstones and there's granite, and we can talk about weathering and weathering and how that, and it was at the time that the principal would say, not a problem, and off I would go. I know we can't do that today, but the fact that now creating these on-site areas where teachers now can get their kids outside, again, I'm only reflecting on my early teaching years and saying, it helped me, why not pass this on to other teachers?
To me, leadership is helping people excel. So I think a good leader, you can manage budgets, you can manage those kind of things, but a leader is somebody that brings the best out in others and provides the opportunities for them to succeed. And so there's a lot of opportunities for nursing. I tell them it's an honor to be caring for people. If you feel that you want to do something else, pursue your dreams. Go ahead, pursue your dreams, and because nursing is very wide open. I would never regret anything I did, but there's times when you go home and you feel, could I have done more? So it's always, to me, never fulfilled. What could I have done better today? How could I have helped somebody do something better? And I think every nurse feels that way. But if I've helped one person or two people that day, then I feel that I've accomplished something. And there's days when it's very tough, because when people are ill, they're not very kind sometimes. And you have to look through that and look beyond it and just assure and take care of those patients and their families. Because sometimes they go through very tough times. When they get good news, when they get bad news, they need somebody there. And what I found out through my career is there's things that patients will tell a nurse that they will not tell a doctor or anyone else. And so you have to be a good, compassionate listener to them and help them to their optimum. I've got some exceptional nurses that do that very well. Every nurse to me is a leader because they are exceptional in the way that they care for our patients. We get a lot of compliments about our nurses. They're very compassionate caregivers. They see the patients at their best, at their worst. And it's a profession where you have the honor to see people at the beginning of their life and at the end of their life. And really it's an honor to work with the patients and the families in which we serve. There's a couple things that I'm very proud of. I think when I was in quality, I know that I was able to we had to prepare for a Joint Commission survey, which is our regulatory body, and we did not do well the prior survey, but we prepared and actually was able to assist the nurses, to do everything in preparing for them. And what ended up happening is we got a perfect score. And we were the only Ohio hospital to do that perfect score. It was that we were so prepared, and we were so proud of the work that we have done that the nurses excelled. Because when you have one of those regulatory visits, you're not allowed. It's the frontline staff that does all the talking, and they were very proud of the care for the patient and how they did. And it was a wonderful experience. It was very collaborative. The physicians were prepared, the nurses, and we try to maintain that level of competence throughout. We learned a lesson. I was at Lutheran then, but that lesson has carried through out my entire career. And so when I came to Medina, it was the same thing. How can we be the best that we can be, and how can we help each other excel? And to me, that's a leader. That's, you know, that's somebody that helps other excel. It's really an honor to be receiving this award. There's many more deserving people than I, but I'm very honored to be receiving this.
I think for our county to be successful, or we need to have organizations be successful. The better we can, a goal that I have each and every day is to make Medina County the best place to live and work. And the only way we can do that is if we continue to do the right things both in the business world and in the nonprofit world. And so whether, you know, I'm fortunate to be chairman of the Medina County Port Authority, and our sole focus is economic development. Retain the businesses that we have and attract new businesses to Medina County. If we keep all the businesses that we have in Medina County and we bring new ones in, we grow the tax base, and that's a good thing for Medina County. I'm on the board with the Salvation Army, and again, helping the less needy. If we can help some of the people out there that need some help and help them become productive in our communities, that's a good thing for our communities. I think it's about making a difference and making our county better. And the only way you can make your county better is not only do a good job in the workforce, but do a good job in your community at all by volunteering and getting involved. I think it's a very, very unique county, and I've worked in a lot of different counties as well. And the collaboration that we have in the county, I think is unlike anywhere I've seen. I think there is just a willingness of business leaders, of government leaders, of nonprofit leaders to want Medina County to be the best county in the state of Ohio, and people are just so willing to work together to help accomplish that goal. And it's inspiring, it's motivational. We get things done as a result, and that's important to me. You want to be, when you lead, you want to be able to lead and set goals and meet those goals and exceed those goals. And when you have everybody working together, collaborating, connecting, that usually happens. Well, I think at the end of the day, everybody wants to be successful, and helping people to be successful. I've never been one to. There are all kinds of different leadership styles and management styles, and at the end of the day, I guess to a certain degree, they're all effective. But I believe when you lead from behind and you're more nurturing, and you're kind of right there with the person, you're not telling them what to do. You're showing. I'm more of a show coach than a tell coach. I just think that it helps them to understand what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. I just love putting people together. Through my day, I meet lots of people who do lots of different things. And anytime I can put people together, I'm happy to do it. Hey, it's hard out there, as we all know, and any door that I can open in the nonprofit world or in the business world, I'm happy to do. It's just the right thing to do. I wish I would have written the book, Pay It Forward, or developed the concept, Pay It Forward, because I just really believe if you do the right thing every day for people and you help people, then good things will happen down the road for everybody involved. And doing that has come back to me in spades so many times.
As you can see, there's a lot to celebrate. These 5 recipients are exceptional and inspiring. Each are leading with their own leadership styles and are impacting Medina in positive ways. Leadership Medina County heartily congratulates each 2016 recipient for excellence in leadership.